What if romanticizing your life isn't delusional? What if these little things that we attach to are how we cope, how we continue to create without getting drained? These little things are the vibe of our environment, how we feel in the morning. Are we excited about the routine that we've placed ourselves in, the energy that we feel amongst our inner circle, the sense of adventure that we get from our day-to-day? In this video, I want to glorify the romanticization process, show you exactly how it was this process that changed my life, and that oddly enough, staring at a screen all day in an environment that drained me didn't actually give me any motivation or desire to accomplish much. Viewing your life as a film where you are the main character isn't goofy, it's not impractical, it's not combative to productivity. It is what makes life beautiful. It's what keeps you showing up and your heart pounding. Design an environment that invigorates you and compels momentum. Mood board every subtle intricacy of your ambition and attach this tether to it where you have to make these goals happen. Live out your romanticization. Observe, write about your adventures. Turn those bullet points into your art. That art takes you to new places, to new versions of yourself. Your art improves because you improve. So on and so forth. The person who builds a poetic and romantic existence will always produce more. Not necessarily more money or more status or more materials, but simply produce more of the art that they were here to create and speak to the people that they were here to speak to. Look at anyone you admire. This is exactly what they are doing or what they did, and here is how you can too. I'm trying to live this movie out. I'm writing the script, designing the wardrobe, scoring the soundtrack, everything. Tyler, the creator. When you train the mind to only go after the things that it deeply, innately desires, you can once and for all clear out all of the noise and go after this straight line path with conviction. Here's how I do that personally, and we can nip this in the bud right now. Look around you right now as you look at me, as you listen to the words that come out of my mouth, and observe your daily routine. What does your life look like? What does your circle look like? Where are you? Are you happy in that environment? We trudge through days that are not quite ideal, and we wander naturally because we never sit down and listen to that voice within, that gut feeling telling us what it actually needs. It's pretty simple when you rid this infinite list of options and optimize for what you need, not what you want anymore, because you can want any career path. You can want to go travel for a living. You can want to go be a photographer. You can want to be an influencer. There's a million different things you can do. There's only one thing that you need. Don't let social media tell you what you need. Don't let friends or teachers or professors tell you what you need. Only you know this. For 99% of us, what we need revolves around these four things: creative sovereignty, a life centered around making meaningful art, writing, filmmaking, content, products, business with full control over what you create; alignment, surrounded by a loving partner, like-minded creatives, and deep friendships that support growth. They feel like family. We don't want this in spurts of our lives. We want this permanently. Flow. Total time and location freedom, waking up where you want, structuring your days around work that you are obsessed with, movement, nature, rest, having the luxury to do whatever you want with your time. Legacy, building something that outlives you, communicating what you are here to communicate. You're obsessed with what you do. You're stoked every single morning to get up and continue telling this story. The difficult part is building the bridge from a life that you are not stoked about to the life that you are stoked about. So a young journalist, and a lot of you guys are going to know this story, but his name was Napoleon Hill. After interviewing Henry Ford, he dedicated 2 decades interviewing the most powerful people of his time to figure out simply what allowed them to succeed. He quickly identified a pattern. The people who won were the ones who decided what they wanted, know what they needed, and they believed that it was already theirs by attaching a burning desire to that need, and refused to stop taking action and iterating upon that action. It was as simple as that. That pattern has been recycled, worded a million different ways, and packaged into boxes of advice, products, courses, etc. for decades. You're consuming one of those packages right now. But that's all it is. That's all it ever will be. You cannot reinvent that bridge, but you can make it far easier to cross, and you can do that via romanticization. What was the integral part of that pattern that Napoleon Hill identified? It was a burning desire, being obsessed with the goal, with making that thing real, falling in love with the process. I want to make money because that will validate me and it'll give me clout. Does that sound romantic to you? Does that sound like a burning desire? Like I have to go do that? Like my emotions are attached to that outcome? Absolutely not. That is predicated entirely on other people's opinions on me. That has nothing to do with me. That's just trying to appease others. Therefore, I have a 99% chance of not getting that thing. I want to make my own brand because it looks cool and everyone else is doing that right now online. Not romantic, not a burning desire. I want to move, I want to go to a better environment, but it just doesn't make sense. I just can't make it happen right now. That's not romantic. That's not a burning desire. That's a matter of logistics. Those are real and those are there, but don't live in that 100% of the time. Like allow yourself to romanticize the process so you can actually eventually climb out of the logistical errors that are stopping you. I have to make this art and share it with you because I was put on this earth to do so. There are people who have to hear what I have to say and they will suffer as long as I remain silent. That's romantic. That is a burning desire. I have to make X amount of money to protect myself and my family from scarcity. That is my duty as a man and as a father. That's romantic. That's a burning desire. That's greater than me. I have to move to this environment because it is calling my name. The people who perceive the world in a similar manner to me are there. My true raw self can only be unveiled if I finally leave this place that has boxed me in and defined me. That's romantic. That's a burning desire. That is a have to. That is an obsession. We're emotional beings. We're not machines. As much as we try to train ourselves to act like them, we live entirely in the non-linear, in the artistic, romantic space, in the what ifs. We will do whatever our gut feeling tells us that we have to do. If your gut feeling is out of commission and you're working solely off of survival, going through the motions because that seems like the only logical thing to do, then you'll continue to do that forever until you wake up and understand that you are a human, an artist. When you are in love with what you do, with your days and the world around you, you will attract the same energy. When you skip along that bridge from A to B and you share bits and pieces of your journey along the way as you grow, as you romanticize your process and continue to get closer to that life that you are in love with, that is what we are attracted to as humans. We love to watch that process. Look at any creator, look at any artist that is succeeding via their documentation. They're sharing that process. They're sharing how they are advancing in their craft. As long as you lack that excitement for your day to day and you remain on that side of the mechanical and mundane, you will attract the same outcomes in your life. Don't complain about the situation you got yourself into. Have the courage to get yourself out of it. Here is how. Follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors for you where there are only walls. Joseph Campbell. Okay, so how do I get romantic? What does that mean, Landon? I get that that seems to work for you, but what does that even entail? Like, where do I start? How do I become obsessed with what I deeply, innately desire? What do I deeply, innately desire? A lot of us get stuck at that point. We don't even figure that out. Only you know what you are here to do, what you need to do with your time on this earth. You have to get in contact with the gut feeling, with HQ. The way I do this is through mood boarding. I'm constantly curating through every art form: film, music, TV, photography, painting, physical structures, etc. My save section on all of my social media platforms are visuals that I feel connected to, work that inspires me and evokes a burning desire. I design an environment where every direction I turn my head, my process is further romanticized. Now, you don't want to Walter Mitty yourself, where you're stuck daydreaming 24/7 while your circumstances remain the exact same. You live in fairy tale land in your dreams where everything's awesome and everything's great, and you're seeing where you want to go and what you want to do. You may be aware of that, but you're not actually doing anything to change your physical reality. It is crucial to translate these desires into digestible action. If you recall Napoleon's last step of The Secret, take relentless action and simply don't stop. That is all there is to it. So I organize all of these visuals, all of these bits and pieces of desire, and I turn those into a map. Mapping where I must live, mapping what I must create, and mapping what I must achieve, all romanticized through a mood board. A mood board that is derived from carefully vetted visuals that genuinely move me. I'm attaching these tethers, these permanent tethers to these goals where I have to live them out. I have to make them happen. And I bring it into the now where I don't get stuck in this, okay, cool, this is a cool mood board, like it looks sweet, but my life's still the same. How do I actually change my life right here, right now? It's only in the now that we can actually move our body, use our mind, write something out, change something, do something that switches up the momentum in our favor. And oftentimes it is as simple as just write your ideas down, or launch that brand, upload that video, make something real, begin the iteration process. The more imperfect, the better. Okay, so I'm a massive believer in tangibility. This is a lot of advice and it's a lot of stuff to take in, and it's cool, it's awesome, but if you're anything like me, you need a vessel to turn a lot of chatter into actual momentum. So what I did for myself was I built this little makeshift system over the last really decade where I can mood board every intricate goal, map my life, my film, chunk that down into daily action, live my romanticization, and write about that process daily. Every video I create, long form, short form, whatever, is derived from a bullet point in one of my journal entries. This one, for instance, was taken from one sentence that I journaled about the other week. This is how you remain authentic. Are ideas ever 100% original? No, but you are. You are 100% original. This is what the world wants to see. They want to see you, your growth, your process, your awakened self who is doing the hard things and living a poetic existence. And that documentation is packaged into the vessel of your choice, comprising your brand. Again, that vessel can be talking head videos on YouTube. It can be a TikTok account where you serialize yourself talking about advice on life. I don't know, whatever works for you, whatever's in your wheelhouse, but that brand eventually grants you creative sovereignty, a life centered around making meaningful art, writing, filmmaking, content, products, a business with full control over whatever it is that you create. That process opens up doors to alignment. You're surrounded by a loving partner, like-minded creatives. You're actually putting art out there and iterating upon it. Therefore, other people see that and gravitate towards it. You start getting deep friendships that support your growth. They feel like family, and you have this around you 24/7, which puts you into a flow. You have total time and location freedom. You're waking up where you want to. You can afford to live where you wish, structuring your days around work that you're obsessed with. You're not helping someone else build their product. You're living off of your own. Movement, nature, and rest are all a concrete part of your routine. You have the luxury to do whatever you want with your time. These three things put you permanently on the path of constructing your legacy. You're building something that outlives you. You're communicating what you are here to communicate. This is a process. I say this like it's a checkbox system. Boom, boom, boom. After this video, you're all of a sudden living off of your own income. You're traveling wherever you want to. You have the best friendships in the world. It's going to take time. This is going to take iteration. It's going to not be immediate. It is the dream run. This is the long game that we're putting ourselves into. It's a reason why it is difficult, because a lot of people decide not to go down this path and just live wherever their jobs tell them to live and surround themselves with the people closest to them, proximity-wise, co-workers, friends from high school, whatever the case. If you are lazy like me and want all of this in one easy to use system on your computer, I took the whole process that I have implemented over the past decade and I had a software engineer turn it into a very seamless, easy to navigate tool that you can just duplicate and apply to your own process. That's down below. The object isn't to make art. It's to be in that wonderful state which makes art inevitable. Robert Henry. If you take anything from this video, and I know we covered a lot of ideas here, but it is the fact that romanticization is a competitive edge. It is a defibrillator that jolts you back into this childhood perception. And life is just best when it feels like an indie film and you're the main character. Look up, look around you. You're living the most visceral, romantic existence possible. And it doesn't have a 90-minute runtime with pre-coordinated twists and turns. It is constantly evolving. Your life is the most beautiful film ever written. And every second that passes as you listen to me right now, you have the full capability to change the plot. Take care, Landon.